I'd like to call to order this meeting of Susquehanna Township Board of Commissioners. I would note that all commissioners are present and accounted for except for our birthday boy, the 9th Ward Commissioner, Steve Napper. So we'll wish them all a happy birthday. We'll start with a Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. And if Commissioner Engel could please lead us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you everybody for coming tonight. I think we'll start things off with an awards presentation. I would turn it over to our Public Safety Director, Rob Martin, and our Fire Marshal, George Dries. Please come forward.
Good evening. At this time, we'd like to present a Corporate Life-Saving Award for Dreher Physical Therapy. And I'd ask the employees of Dreher to please come up front. You got to stand over here. Please. Smile. And occasionally smile. On January 27th, 2017, a patient had just finished warming up on the treadmill as part of his treatment at Dreher Physical Therapy. He was stretching and suddenly collapsed. The staff reacted and cleared the area, and 3 individuals provided CPR to the patient. The staff grabbed and applied their AED, an automatic external defibrillator. The remaining staff continued treating other patients, and the front desk called for 911 and notified his wife. The subject collapsed at 14:52 hours. I'm sorry, 2:50. It's wrote that way. at 2:52 and was pulseless. At 2:52 and 8 seconds, a shockable rhythm was detected on their automatic external defibrillator. At 14:52 or 2:52 and 18 seconds, electronic shock was applied to the patient's heart. And at 14:53 and 48 seconds, the subject had a self-sustained pulse as a result of their CPR and AED and quick actions. At 14:56 hours, Susquehanna Township EMS and Rescue Fire Company arrived to find an unconscious subject with a pulse. The subject was transported to the hospital and after a time in intensive care has made a full recovery. It should be noted there is no code, regulation, or ordinance that a business has an AED. That's their personal decision. It speaks volumes of the commitment that Dreher Physical Therapy is not only committed to improving quality of life, but also acknowledges the potential risks associated with health care. At this time, Public Safety Director Martin and myself would like to Corporate Life Saving Award. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll do this side. Thank you. Thanks.
Now I can speak of the recipient.
You got it.
All right, I'm going off script here because the man that you saved is one of the best friends that I have in this world. And he's sitting right there in that green jacket. His name's Brian Walborn, Detective Brian Walborn of Dauphin County Criminal Investigation. Former patrol officer Brian Walborn for 10 years of the Harrisburg City Police Department. Assistant Commander of the Dauphin County Crisis Response Team. He and I are the leadership team of the County Crisis Response Team and have been together in a lot of tough moments for going on 2 decades. Prior to becoming a police officer, he served in the United States Army as in the armor unit with tanks on the front lines of Germany during the height of the Cold War. He's a great American. He's one of the greatest cops I ever met in my life. And I want to thank you for keeping him here with us, his wife, and his young daughter. Thank you very much. Now you're really in for a treat.
I would just like to say thank you for saving my life. There's nothing else I can say. It was a flash in the pan. I mean, as far as what I recall is nothing. I was stretching, and next thing I know, it was Sunday afternoon. I was in the hospital. I was like, what happened? And my wife had to fill me in. And I remember nothing what they did, but I want to thank them from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Excuse me, awardees, thank you very much on behalf of the board. And if we could we have each of you say your name and what you do for DRARE? And where you live. If you live in Susquehanna Township, that's a bonus. Please step up to the microphone.
My name is Justin Huff. I'm one of the physical therapists over there, and I actually live down in Campbelltown, so.
Don't hold that against you.
I'm Patrick Shank. I'm a physical therapist assistant. I'm in Palmyra.
Okay.
I'm Pam Shank. I'm a physical therapist and also in Palmyra.
I'm Alicia Bettis, physical therapist and manager of the facility, and I live in northern Dauphin County, up above Elizabethville.
Very good. Well, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's great to have presentations like that. Moving on to something less serious but very important would be, for a long time we've had a very good website, and we've taken steps, our communications committee has over the past 6 months, to make it even better. And so I'd like to ask Mr. Kratzer to introduce the person who's going to show us what that will look like, and also to acknowledge members of the team who put it together.
Sure, I'd be happy to, Mr. President. Again, this evening we have Sal Urbano, who works for a company, Virtual Towns and Schools, who is the provider that we've been working with over the course of the past 6 months. So
Excuse
Sal
me, I
is-
can't hear
Dave,
you.
we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Well,
Just a little bit.
turn it on.
How about now?
Better.
You can hear me now? Okay.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
You can hear me now? Yeah. All right. So again, just to kind of repeat what I said, we have with us Sal Urbano from Virtual Towns and Schools. This is after a fairly exhaustive search of providers, ultimately decided to engage Virtual Towns and Schools for the design and hosting of the new Susquehanna Township website. Sal's going to kind of walk you through just quickly some of the elements of the site. The site is expected to be live next week. I believe the 17th is our live date. So he'll walk us through. But before that, as the Commissioner noted, I'd like to take the opportunity also to acknowledge the work of kind of the internal team that was working through this project. And that team was led by Bob Reichert, the Director of Parks and Recreation, Betsy Logan, the Director of Community and Economic Development, Jan Michaels, who's a part-time employee in the Rec Department, and Eileen Swartz, who's the Administrative Assistant in the Recreation Department. So I do want to take the opportunity to thank Bob and his team really for, making this project a success and seeing it through from inception to conclusion. So Bob, I don't know if you want to introduce Sal or whether Sal's ready to kind of show us what we got, but okay.
Distinguished commissioners, members of the public, visitors of Susquehanna Township. As David mentioned, I'm Sal Urbano with Virtual Towns and Schools. It was our distinct honor to work with the team here headed by Bob Reichert and his associates on the project for the new website. As commissioned with Dave and the Communications Committee, Commissioner Schubert, Commissioner Pine, and Commissioner Lynch that were involved in that meeting. We appreciate your input, and this is the results of all that work and your team's efforts. Some of the goals that were identified high level was to try and make the information easier for residents to find it quickly and easily on the new website. You wanted to be able to make changes in-house as opposed to farming them out, and just make the website work aesthetically, to be visually attractive, to make it functionally elegant, so when residents come on your website, they can find what they're looking for quickly and easily, and also to make the website mobile-friendly, which we did in a capacity called responsive design, so it works on all devices the same way, so it will have the same user experience whether you're on a PC, a laptop, a tablet, or a smartphone. And without further ado, here's a look at what your new website will appear like when it goes live sometime next week. So we've taken the opportunity to include an enhanced search in the upper right. There is a language drop, so if you have any people visiting from out of town where English is not their main language, you can adjust the website to the language of their choice. There are some drop downs on the left with boards and commissions, departments, and frequently asked questions, and something that we call a mega menu under Find It Fast, which will enable the residents to find information quickly and easily. There are always going to be multiple paths to the information. So some folks might see a button for agenda and minutes and go and click on that to get the latest agenda or minutes from your commissioner meetings. Other folks can search up front or find it in the Find It Fast. So again, what we've tried to do is make it easy because people process information differently to ensure that folks can find their information quickly and easily. Here is an example of what the mega menu for Find It Fast would look like. Your team has laid it out nicely in task-oriented categories like apply. So apply if I'm looking for a job at Susquehanna Township for an employment application. Pay if I'm looking to pay for a parking ticket or to rent a pavilion for one of your parks. Report if I'm looking to let the township know that I've run across a pothole and make sure that their DPW team is aware of it. Or if I want to view minutes or newsletters or calendar information as it relates to the township. The lower half of your website has something that we call the Citizen Action Center. Again, the buttons are large. They render really well on a smartphone. It enables you to find those pieces of information quickly. If you want to learn something about the recent agendas or find out more about Document Center or the recycling issues and the recycling schedule for the town, you can quickly click on any of those links and find information. One of our best practices is to have a calendar on the homepage so residents can see the upcoming events. The events will scroll through so that you don't have old information on your new website. And if you hover over a date that's underlined, it'll bring up that event. So if you're on whether it's a tablet or a smartphone and you want to see what is the meeting or the agenda for the commissioners meeting tonight, you can click on the link and you can find that information quickly and easily. In the lower part where you see work in progress and the primary election, which comes up on May 16th, and the planning commission vacancy, that is what we call a tab bank. And it's currently on news, but you can click on either township services or community links. And I think Bob was talking about adding another button there for a staff directory at some point down the road. So basically, it will give the internal team at Susquehanna Township the ability to make changes as they need to for the website, to provide urgent alerts if there is an emergency situation as it relates to weather, to make residents aware of it. And we talked about today how mobile-friendly has become important because all of the world now, it seems like everybody has a smartphone, or many people do. And so here's the look and feel of what your website will look like on a smartphone. So again, it will have the same user experience. And we find that that really works well because people have said numerous times over in research that they want to have the same experience for a website on all devices. So that's the reason why we included responsive design. Last but not least, your team has been trained on how to make changes to the website. At Virtual Towns and Schools, we pride ourselves on making a strong safety net that is available for David, Bob, and his team as they get ready to take the website live. So they can call our support team in a limited number of times. If they call us 5 times a day, 10 times a day, we'll be happy to take every call. We want to make sure that when they get ready to go live, that everything is in order and that the website is truly going to reflect the township well and do a great job for the township and the citizens of the township. So thank you so much for the honor of working with your team. Your team has done a great job, and kudos to them in working collaboratively with our team to get your website live. I will see you periodically as I come out and meet with folks to review the website and talk about where you are today and where you want to go and how we can help you get there as you tweak and evolve your website down the road. But we are super excited to support you for next week's Go Live, and if there's anything that David or Bob needs, they know how to reach us. Special thanks to the commissioners who were involved in the Communications Committee meeting, and it was a very long meeting, lots of great ideas were shared, and this is the fruition of all your work that was put together from your team. So, thank you, Susquehanna Township.
Very nice. Thank you, Sal. Moving on, do we have any comments from citizens who'd like to discuss anything with the board? Yes, ma'am. Please come forward.
Hi.
Hi.
Good evening. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Carolyn Reger. I was here last year. I live in Wedgewood Hills. The pool is getting ready to open. So I'm here to discuss the issues that we had last year. They are already starting this year. I don't know what we can do about the speeding issues. We have children, the 2 that were just in here, Commissioner Haste's grandchildren. They're my neighbors. I don't have kids, but I want to protect the kids. Our cul-de-sac is very narrow. It's 25 miles an hour through there. People come racing down there like it's the Daytona 500. Our house is the entrance to the pool. We have worked as much as we can with the pool people to make sure that we are on the same page. Diamond Street is public parking. That is where my husband and I park our vehicles. We use our side door. I don't feel like I should change my lifestyle to accommodate people who don't know how to drive. Our yard has been torn up, and I really hope that our cars don't get hit. The children are just that. We teach the kids to look both ways before they cross the road, but they're just kids. They got to learn. We asked for a speed bump. It's been put on hold. They were going to install them last week. Poles were placed. One of our neighbors contacted the township. I guess had a fit about it because one of the poles was in his yard. And they were all taken up. And now we don't know if we're going to get the speed bump. Schoolhouse Lane has speed bumps. I know they're a different ward. They fought. They got them. Shell Street also has permit parking. Those pool people and ball field people all block us in. We can't get in our driveways when we come home. I work 2 full-time jobs. I'm a small business owner for a salon, and I cover 13 counties for Homeland Hospice. I'm tired when I get home. I don't want to come home and not have a parking spot. I don't want to come home and have to fight with my neighbors. It has torn us apart. But then again, it's brought us together so that we can look out for each other's belongings and our homes. So I'm not sure if all of you are looking at me like I got 50 heads, but I can guarantee you, if you had children that are in your family that had the safety issue, I could almost bet something would get done about it. That's my opinion. I just feel that nothing has been done. I don't want this put on hold any longer. We have Susquehanna police at our house 4 to 5 times a week. Like they don't have anything else better to do. The one phone call I don't want to have to make is to 911 because one of them kids got hit. I'm begging and I'm pleading with y'all as township elected officials to do something about it. Work with us. We're not here to complain. We're not here to have fiery tempers. That gets you nowhere. So I don't know what else to do. If we can get permit parking for the residents on Brookfield, fabulous. We really need to push for a lower speed limit. When you first enter Brookfield Road from Progress, it's 25. It's wider, substantially wider. When you come into the cul-de-sac, the road is a lot narrower. People drive like crazy, including some of our neighbors. I don't know what else to do. I mean, all of our time's precious. My time's precious. My time's very precious. I have clients and patients that I could be taking care of this evening, but instead I'm here because this is how important this is to me, my husband, and my neighbors that came with me. There are 4 houses that are directly impacted by this pool. We have no problem working with anybody, but we're asking you guys to help us out and get speed bumps in this neighborhood before something happens. I don't want to have to make that phone call. I don't know what else to say. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I missed the beginning. So could you tell me again the street and what pool are we talking about?
Wedgewood Hills Pool, across the street from the Peach Tree. I have been in touch with the pool. I think she's the director, Miss Adrian. We have been working together about the buses coming in. They're saying they can't make the turn on Diamond Street, which is a very short street, if we are parked there. Apparently, Susquehanna drivers can get through there, but they're bringing in Harrisburg camps, and those drivers, for whatever reason, can't make that turn. So I even told her they're more than welcome to park in front of our house, drop the kids off, and then they can move the buses. I don't need 3 and 4 big buses parking in front of my house, and I can't get in my driveway. So that's what the biggest issue is. I mean, I feel like, you know, we're all hardworking, tax-paying citizens, and I'm not asking for the world, but what I am asking for is the prevention of those 2 right there, along with another one, to not get hit. These people are on their phones, and they are flying down the cul-de-sac. The police have been there. Sometimes they're there at the wrong times, unfortunately. They don't get to, you know, see what's going on. But like I said, we've been working with the pool people to make sure that the noise stays down. They abide by the rules. The chain gets put up at night. There's a lot of traffic that goes down there at that pool with things that I don't think anybody really wants to know what's going on. So for the safety of my home, I'm not going to back down. I'm not going to keep quiet. I'm not going down without a fight. This is my home. My husband and I work very hard for what we have. It's great that the pool's open. Kids being kids, awesome, fabulous. But that's my home, and I'm going to do everything in my power to protect it 150%. So I really, really hope that you guys aren't just hearing me. I really hope that you're listening to me. I don't want to see anything happen. I really don't. So I appreciate the time. I hope that what I've said hits home a little bit. Like I said, I think if it was anybody else's family members, all of you up on the board, you'd want to do everything you can to protect them. I'm doing this for the kids in the neighborhood. We don't have kids. I have a dog and a husband and myself. So, you know, I don't know what else to say. This is a very, very serious situation, and we're trying to nip it in the bud now,
Right.
before it gets started again. So we're very cooperative. We don't need any animosity. But we said we probably weren't going to have to be here again. Guess what? We're here again. So
Well, I thank you for bringing that to our attention. I know that last year, Public Works Director Martin had worked with Commissioner Engel and our fire marshal to try to come up with a solution. And it's time to, with the pool opening coming, it's time to revisit that, I think. And
It's already been revisited.
okay.
can I ask?
We're moving forward with that. Chief and I have talked about it, and the speed hump we do have. As far as the buses go, Adrian,
Yes, sir.
I spoke to her, and she said that you two have some sort of agreement
Yeah,
about
we're
the
being very
buses
cooperative, yes.
dropping the kids off, and and she's going to try to get permission that they can park up at the Zion Church to
Yeah.
stage there until the kids are ready to be picked up. So we are moving forward. We are working things out. But you're right, we did have a complaint from one of your residents, and we just want to see that through and make sure we're going to try to make everybody happy. But the biggest obstacle, or I don't know, I guess obstacle is not the right word, but the conversations have to be between the residents and the pool folks, so that you guys can come up with some kind of common ground so that both can coexist. And I understand that those conversations have been ongoing and have been productive. And you can rest assured that the township is going to do what we can to help everybody get through safely.
So can I ask real quick, I don't want to take up much time, how does one person of calling in and complaining about a sign being in the yard or whatever, what had happened, to not have the speed bump installed?
Well, it's not going to not be installed. It's
Okay.
going to be installed. Within, Chief, next 2 weeks?
I'll consult with Mr. Christopher and our township engineer, absolutely.
Well, I definitely appreciate you listening to me, and I really hope that you are listening, because I don't want any tragedy. So, thank you very much for your time.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else wish to address the board tonight? Okay, moving on. Approval of minutes from our April 13th, 2017 regular meeting.
Somebody stand up.
Oh, yeah, come on.
Oh, he's all right. I just want to speak on the same subject. Forgive me because
Could you please state your name
Name and address, sir.
address and try to limit your marks to
Jason
3
Klinger.
minutes? I'm sorry, your name?
Jason Klinger. I live at 3139 Brookfield Road. Also, one of the houses that's being affected by the pool right near Diamond Street. I'm going to apologize right now. I'm a little upset, a little frustrated. The same thing that Carolyn said, you know, we try to coexist with the pool. We try to help the pool out. They try to help us out the best they can. I think the person that's actually in charge of the pool right now is actually making an effort compared to the person in the past that was there. My frustrations are this. You know, we came to the knowledge that you guys had the speed bump since last year. Why wasn't it pre-fitted? Why wasn't it tested? Why wasn't it actually put in place and it was already set up so that way you could have dropped it off and put it right in? My thing is this, and as working 60-hour work weeks for the company that I work for, we always say that we under-promise and over-deliver. And I feel like right now you guys are over-promising us and not delivering at all. You know, it's getting very, very frustrating because when I have a little one that's 1 year old that I'm trying to teach not to run across the street, to play in the yard, and you have cars running up and down the street, slamming their brakes on, going into reverse because they're missing this road, which is clear. The sign's there. We cut trees back for them to see this sign being visible. There's no consideration for these people going down to the pool. The staff are being very considerate and trying to work with us. But as anybody knows in any business or you can only tell somebody so much. Are they going to listen sometimes? Yeah. Are they going to listen when something major happens? After that point, yeah, they probably will. You know, it's getting to a point where, and if you want to go next door to get the police, you can do that right now. If someone hits my son, we're going to have a major issue. And I'm not talking about things happening to me or to that person, but we're going to have a major issue if my son gets hurt. I can teach my son as much as I physically can. He's 1. He's not going to know right away until we keep telling him repetitively over and over and over again. I'm very frustrated. I'm very upset. The speed bump should have been put in place already. Not 2 weeks from now, it should have been already put in place. You guys could have did a pre-fit last year to where all you had to do was drop it, put the pins in, and been done. I don't understand why we're dragging our feet on a public safety issue. I really don't. The other thing with permit parking. At times I come home at 2 o'clock when I get off work, those buses are parked in front of my house. I have to park up the street and walk down to my house. I don't think that's right. I really don't think that's right. I go up to the driver and ask him, can you please move so I can get to my house? You know what the excuse I get? We said we were allowed to park here. I don't think that's right. Why should I have to park way up the street when my house is down here? Why? Thank you.
Thank you.
And, ma'am, Carolyn,
Yes, sir.
did you give us your address when you first started to speak?
No, sir.
Would you mind doing that?
3142 Brookfield Road.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else wish to address the board tonight?
Mr. President, I just have one question. Maybe of our solicitor. Are school buses even legally permitted to park on the street? I don't.
If there's a parking area long enough for the bus to park legally, they can, yes.
We have a township ordinance related to prohibitive lengths of vehicles, so it would depend on the actual length of the bus.
So a
If you put
full-size school bus,
Exactly, yes, Commissioner.
they are permitted or they're not?
It would depend on the length. Some of them are longer than the others. I don't know the exact length. It would be something we could certainly look into.
Because that might help them out if it's actually
It could.
prohibited.
Yes,
We,
absolutely.
that would solve that problem.
And you can limit the parking on that street if the board wishes to.
Well, the problem should be resolved. There's an agreement that the buses will go outside that immediate neighborhood down to the Zion Church on Progress Avenue.
Right, but if that doesn't happen and it's prohibited, they can be ticketed.
Okay.
Would the board like me to go outside with these folks and gather some more information and?
If they would think that would be helpful, I think it would be most appreciative.
Sure. Okay, let's go outside.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you very much for
Thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak to the board? Hearing none. Going on to minutes, April 3rd, 2017 regular meeting. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comment? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. April 27th, workshop meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Reports of committees. Buildings and Grounds, Commissioner Schubert.
Yes, Mr. President, our committee received a proposal from Kimmel Broquette Architects regarding making some revision to the internal aspects of the building. And we wanted to inform the rest of the board that we received this proposal. Manager Kratzer will be sending this out to the rest of the board for us to have a discussion on this at our workshop meeting on May 25th. That's item number one. And again, I'm also happy to report that the public safety expansion project is nearing completion. We have one more change order, which will be presented at the meeting under the bids and agreements and later in the session. And that concludes my report.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Schubert. Budget and Finance, Commissioner Sanderson.
No report.
For Highway, Commissioner Napper or Engel.
I'm filling in for Commissioner Napper.
All right.
Mr. President.
Yes.
You're doing well so far.
The Highway Department installed new signs, repaired damaged signs, and a water line on Kaufman Baseball Field.
Wait, say where?
Kaufman Baseball Field. That's what it said. Got it? Thank you, sir. Patched potholes, repaired and installed new inlets, and cleared out storm drains throughout the township. Roadside grass mowing and street sweeping continues. The 2017 street sweeping schedule is posted on the township website. Street sweeping will continue from now to May 28th, south of Elmerton Avenue to Old Township Road. As a final note, Mr. President,
Cracking yourself up.
the Highway Department installed 160 feet of pipe behind the public safety building. That ends my report, Mr. President.
Mr. President,
Elvis has left the building.
I have a question, maybe not for Commissioner Napper, but for somebody. Speaking of installing signs, when are we going to repair that sign on for Edgemont Park?
Good. Mr. Engel?
Oh, I was.
I don't know who ran over it, but.
Yeah, I know, but it's been some time.
We have a new one. It should be up within days.
Okay, maybe that'll be in our next month report then. Okay, I got it. Okay, I just wanted to ask, since he was talking about signs. Good job down there, Commissioner Napper.
Thank you, Madam Vice President.
Well done.
Steve's gonna get a kick at it.
Don't let Steve.
Who are we
Don't
going
let
to get to
Steve
do
get
the
a hold of
personnel
this tape.
report? Oh, boy. All right, Health and Sanitation, Commissioner Barczyk.
Thank you. The next yard waste pickup will be conducted by Penn Waste on Saturday, May 20th. Please place all materials for pickup at the curb in approved containers prior to 6 a.m. that morning. Susquehanna Township residents may also drop off yard waste at Organic Endeavors, which is located at 100 Fort Hunter Road. Dates and times for the drop-offs are as follows. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and the second and fourth Saturday of the month, 9 a.m. to noon. Items accepted for drop-off include tree and shrub trimmings, leaves, and stumps up to 4 inches in diameter. Thank you.
Thank you. Administration personnel, Commissioner Engel.
No report.
All right, thanks. Police, Commissioner Engel.
No report.
All right.
Mr. President.
Fire and EMS, Commissioner Fleming.
No report.
You. Recreation, Commissioner Johnson.
I don't know, do I have a report,
Yep.
Bob?
Yes.
Okay.
Big one.
Oh.
About 180
Yeah, it
pages.
says recreation plan. I'm missing it. So maybe let me throw it back. Let me throw it to you. Yep.
Thank you.
Oh, is this it?
President Lynch, Vice President Johnson, Commissioners. It is my honor to introduce the 2017 Comprehensive Parks and Recreation Plan. This project began in the late months of 2015 and culminated in a very thorough and detailed document because of the hard work and efforts of the Recreation Advisory Committee and the Recreation staff. I would like to thank Vice President Johnson and Commissioner Rybarczyk for their support and guidance throughout the course of this project. A special thank you goes out to Diane Krippis, a township resident and my neighbor, for her assistance with the plan. I believe this is not just an update of our existing Parks and Recreation Plan, but an upgrade. And it's an upgrade to a document that will steer the Parks and Recreation Department and the Recreation Advisory Committee as we move forward in providing recreational opportunities for the residents of Susquehanna Township. It is with great pride that I ask for your support in adopting the 2017 Comprehensive Parks and Recreation Plan.
Thank you, Bob, for teeing it up for us. Having said that, I make a motion that we adopt the 2017 Comprehensive Park and Recreation Plan.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comment?
Yes, just briefly, again, thanks for all your work on this, Mr. Reichert. You did a wonderful job, and the Parks and Rec volunteers, they did a wonderful job too. It basically tells us what we already know, that our township parks are in great shape. Everyone is doing a fantastic job maintaining them, a lot of great facilities. And it also gives us lots of ideas to tweak things and ways we can continue to grow, which I really appreciate. It's very comprehensive as a comprehensive plan. The one thing that I would note that was interesting in reading through it, which you might guess, is there was a suggestion, there are lots of suggestions, but increasing programs for the 15 to 19-year-old age group. It was interesting, it says that in the township population, we had a 20% increase in that age group. So there was a recommendation to increase programs, but of course you're up against a challenge there because it's hard to find programs that they're interested in. But I just found that interesting, and it just does cover everything. So thank you for your work on it.
Thank you very much, and it was a team effort. Thank
Yep.
you.
Very much. It was tough to read, only because it was so long, but long means comprehensive.
Yeah.
But War and Peace was long too, and that was excellent.
And also comprehensive.
You betcha. All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and we have a new plan. Thanks, Bob. Thanks,
you.
everybody. Planning and Zoning, Commissioner Schubert.
Yeah, Mr. President,
Yeah.
I have no report.
All right. Bids and agreements. Mr. Kratzer, Dauphin County Local Share Municipal Grant.
Sure. There's going to be Commissioners, there's a series of agreements related to the Dauphin County Local Share Municipal Grant Program. The first item that's noted on your agenda is a grant agreement that we sponsored and that we're a co-grantee for at this point. The township sponsored an application of the American Literacy Corporation for implementation of the Books and Barbershop program. That program seeks to promote reading and literacy among boys within community barbershops. The award is in the amount of $35,000. As a co-grantee, the township needs to execute or authorize the execution of the Dauphin County Local Share Municipal Grant Agreement number 2017-01. So So we're looking for a motion to authorize execution of the agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Let me just ask one.
Yeah.
Is this the program that our former health officer is involved in?
City Councilman Johnson.
Yeah, City Councilman Johnson?
He is involved with it along with Floyd
No
Stokes.
relation, by the way.
Floyd Stokes from the American.
Now he's my nephew since he's City Council.
Oh, okay.
No relation.
He's your nephew, yeah.
Floyd Stokes, Susquehanna Township President, American Literacy Corporation, it's a nonprofit, is the one who applied for it with the vigorous support of Cornelius and others.
Okay, yeah, because I
Commissioner
saw
Hardaway.
something that said he was trying to do this. I saw Cornelius. I didn't know it was Floyd Stokes as well.
It is.
Yep.
100% support. And Floyd,
Mhm.
respected member of our community. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, so let me vote again. My support.
As I noted via email, another one of the applications that the township had co-sponsored was awarded as part of this grant cycle. And that was for the Jewish Family Services project, which is a renovation and reconfiguration of their headquarters on Front Street. That grant amount is in the amount of $26,204. We do not have the agreement at this point before you. However, these are form grant agreements that are provided by the county, and there is an expectation that grantees respond within a 30-day period following receipt of the grant agreement. So one of the, I guess, questions in terms of comfort is whether the board feels comfortable to authorize the appropriate township officials to execute the agreement upon presentation by Jewish Family Services.
I would move that we grant staff the permission or ability to enact that agreement.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comment?
Yeah, I would say, Bruce, what do you think?
The grant form that you have in front of you for the literacy grant is the same form. The difference would be the name of the co-grantee and the amounts, but the contract itself is the same.
So do we have the contract?
We have the one contract, we don't have the second one, but the difference would just be the amount and the grantee and the project.
The rest of the terms are the same.
Yeah, the rest of the terms.
And-
So the differences are the differences that Manager Kratzer just reviewed with you. The contract, other than those 2 or 3 changes.
But we don't have the contract for the second one.
We don't have that.
Right. Is that normal practice, or is that something that we should consider?
Well, we have a limited time limit, 30 days, and you really only have the one regular meeting during that time.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
it
given
would
the
be
fact that-
better- It'd be better to have the contract in front of you, but the staff will review the contract. It's, unless it's the exact same contract with those changes, it won't be executed.
Okay.
And that's our expectation. Again, as the co-grantee or the sponsor in this case, we have limited control in terms of when we actually get the agreement from the primary grantee. Again, as I said, recognizing that it is a form agreement with simply those name and dollar amount changes. That's why I was requesting the board's consideration if you're so inclined.
And I would note that this is one of several sponsorships that we already voted on and submitted to the county for their consideration to award to a Susquehanna Township-based organization or one that has an effect on our residents. All right, so it's been moved and seconded. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item is also a local share municipal grant agreement. This is for a project that we were the direct applicant, and that was for the public safety building expansion. The township has been awarded $163,236 for debt reduction associated with the public safety building expansion project. The amount of $163,236 represents an amount equal to the 2017 and 2018 debt service payments for the borrowing that was done for that project. So again, we're seeking authorization to execute the local share grant agreement.
So moved.
Second.
You do have that contract in front of you.
Yes.
Again, it's the exact same contract except for the name. There's no co-applicant, and the amount and the project itself.
All right, so moved and seconded. Any other comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And finally, change order for the Public Safety Building. Mr. Kratzer?
Yeah, if, Greg, are you here?
Yeah,
Oh, there you
Deputy
are,
Chief
Greg.
Rogalski.
Okay. If Assistant Chief Rogalski is going to present these to the board.
Good evening, members of the board. Greg Rogalski, I'm the Assistant Chief of the Rescue Fire Company. You've always seen my smiling face before, and I had the opportunity to present you with a long and comprehensive package of change orders for your consideration this evening. As I had alluded to at the last workshop meeting, we ran into some issues related to the existing paving out at the Public Safety Building, both in the rear and in the front. We had an opportunity to have the contractor price essentially not replacing everything, which would be likely in excess of $125,000, and we got it down to $25,000. So to the extent we're making improvements, we certainly are. We're not making it brand new, but it's certainly well within the what we're looking for with respect to the building. So that is one element of the change order packages in front of you. The total amount is $54,494.74. Obviously sounds like a lot. It also includes some roof repairs on the existing building that were discovered during the construction process. Portions of the roof, particularly in the rear of the building, were actually starting to rot through or rust through. That would be repaired along with putting in what they call crickets to be able to direct the water away from those areas that probably should have been done originally. And then we have some door strike change orders. There were some issues with respect to some of the drawings with some coordination that was missed with respect to the design professional, and then also some insulation changes in that regard. Currently, we believe, to the best of our knowledge, that the change orders that were represented on the form will be the end. We have stopped the bleeding. And there may be a couple of minor change orders to clean some things up with respect to some back charges to the contractors and some other things. So there may be another package coming towards you, but we would hope that that would be in the form of a credit and not any more additional charges. We also have yet to have the conversation, but as we get closer to closeout on the project, certainly meetings with the architect and the mechanical, electrical, plumbing engineer related to some of the issues that were contained on the drawings, and to see what kind of influence they can have on some refunds. So certainly open the floor to any questions the board may have.
Greg, if you
No,
could, just for the board's information, and I'm sorry, Commissioner, just on the spreadsheet that you've provided, and this was kind of a continuation of a conversation that we had at the board's workshop meeting, but if you look at the bottom left of the chart, it talks about the percentage of change orders as a measure of the original contract, and then it tries to kind of break that down. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Certainly.
Just so the board is aware.
Currently, we're up to a total change order amount of $150,000, which roughly represents about 8% of the total contract amount. A little higher than we'd like that to be, but certainly as we break down that $150,000 worth of change orders, over 75% of those change orders that had been approved were related to improvements to the existing building. So somewhat of a deferred maintenance type scenario where we chose to move forward with looking at fixing some of the issues within the existing areas that came up during the construction process. Very, very small amount of changes, 3.5% of that total change order amount was related to requests either from the firehouse or from the township. So we did not go in there with the intent to make major modifications of the drawings. We were simply trying to fix what we had as we started to open things up. So, and then you'll see too as well, there's a line item of 12% related to some drawing issues that were associated with the bid documents.
So really, if I might ask, is just really the changes that are fall in the lap of the contractors and so forth is less than 1%, or neighborhood of 1% of the total project. Because
Meaning
you're saying
that we
that,
changed, that we specifically changed the scope of?
Right.
Yes, correct. I mean, it's a very, very small number. I think it's
that errors and omissions is what I'm really talking about. That section is less than 1% of the total project.
Correct. So, I mean, once again, the project in general, with respect to those, that's I would say industry standard. I mean, we're treading within those guidelines. That 75% of work on the existing building, of which $55,000 was paving.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's where we're at, and I certainly invite anybody to walk out back. It's hard to argue that something needs to be done out there. So, and I hate to break it to you too, but you're
parking lot in the back, and the township building's going to need some work here in the near future as well. So, but I'm not asking for that money. So.
Another change order.
So.
All right, any other questions before Mr. Schubert makes a motion?
Well, anyway, I have no questions, but I just wanted to commend our deputy chief who not only spends his time as a fireman, but has volunteered so much of his time to help manage this project because he's also a professional engineer in his daytime job. And thanks, Greg, for all you do for our community.
Thank you.
With that said, I would be very happy to make the motion to accept this change order. Again, noting that Greg said so much of it is the greater part of it is to repair to the existing building, and so it's testimony to the management of the project for the expansion. The change order is actually quite small, but
Second.
all in all, it's needed. Thank you.
Commissioner Napper made the second. Moved and second. Any other comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. President, if I may too, there's a number of members of your volunteer fire community in the background. If you please stand, Rescue Fire Company as well as Mr. Modica, and the alumni members. Our presence here was merely to say thank you to the board for your continued financial support of the project as well as our operation in general. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for all you do for our community. Volunteers are great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. You can stay. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Ordinances, resolution, subdivisions. Ordinance 1707, prohibiting parking on the north side of Old Lingelstown Road.
I would, make that motion. That's my ward. You can, that's a very important prohibition we're putting in there. Not to take too much time, I just want to make the motion to approve ordinance 17-07.
It's been moved and seconded. Thank you.
Moved and seconded.
Any comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And LSP Investment LLC. Mr. Rohr.
In the first ward, final subdivision plan for the purpose of subdividing an existing tract, Lot 1, containing 2 existing dwellings into 2 separate lots. No improvements are being proposed. The lot contains 8,000 square feet in a zoned commercial neighborhood. The property is located at 3635 and 3637 North 6th Street. Plan was recommended by the Planning Commission with one waiver, and that was to waive the preliminary plan requirement.
Mr. President, I will make a motion to waive the preliminary plan requirement.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The Planning Commission attached one condition, that is to revise the lot coverage calculations on the first page to include a parking area in the rear.
Mr. President, I will make a motion to approve the plan with that condition.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, unfinished business. Anything?
No report.
Okay. Reports. Mr. Kratzer?
Nothing further, Mr. President.
All right. Mr. Foreman?
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Fire Marshal back there, nothing? Good. Okay. School Board, Commissioner Fleming?
No report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Authority, Commissioner Sanderson?
No report, thank you.
Thank you. Indian Wheels, Commissioner Barchak?
No report, but I do have a shade tree report.
All right.
I have to give a report. I'd like to thank the Highway Department, Commissioner Pine, and the members of the Shade Tree Commission for their assistance in planting trees in the township a few weeks ago. You may recall the regularly scheduled fall planting was canceled due to a shortage of supplying trees from the township supplier. So we appreciate all the residents who signed up to have a tree planted in their yard as well. And I have another item, a notice. Last weekend, I spoke to someone from Penn State Master Gardeners. They were at the Friends of Fort Hunter Garden Fair, and they shared some information about the emerald ash borer. It's a wood-boring bug which has been wiping out ash trees over the eastern portion of the United States. It has hit nearby in Lower Paxton Township. There's a community where the trees have been devastated. And yes, it is timely to announce this now because they have to be treated in May or June in order for for it to be effective. The insecticide that you can get to prevent it is 99% effective. If you don't get the trees treated, then 100% of the ash trees will die in the next 5 years. And I was also told by the person from the Master Gardeners at Penn State that we do have a good number of these trees in the Mountaindale section of Susquehanna Township. So if you do have ash trees, you can find more information on Penn State Extension's website, and I would encourage you to look into it as soon as possible. The other option is to cut down the trees, but that's costly as well. So look into it if you have ash trees. Thank you. That concludes my report.
That was a good report.
Good job.
And thank you, Commissioner.
Can I just add one small?
Sure.
Small?
The Department of Agriculture also has information on treatment for emerald ash borer. It's been a problem, basically working its way from western Pennsylvania to eastern Pennsylvania for many years, nearly a decade now. So thank you for bringing that up, and thank you on behalf of the citizens of Mountaindale. So I'll get that word out.
No problem.
Thank you, Commissioner.
We're going to discuss it at Shade Tree too and put out some more notification and hopefully get something on the website.
Excellent.
Communications, Commissioner Pine.
Thank you, Mr. President. Really just reemphasizing the thank you to Manager Kratzer as well as Recreation Director Reichert for the great work on the website. Thank you so much. And I also have to credit, in addition to other staff, Commissioner Schubert, who really was one of the early birds on the website. So thank you, Commissioner. And in addition, just to let you know that we've begun discussions with the Township School Board, or at least representatives of the school district, to some degree of a joint newsletter. So perhaps some cost savings for the taxpayers, who, of course, are the same people for both the township and the school district. So more about that at our workshop meeting this month.
All right, great. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thanks, Commissioner. Human Relations, anything?
No report, thank you.
Moving on to new business. Mr. Kratzer, International Property Maintenance Code.
Yeah, in the board's packet is a summary of changes. Just to kind of back up, as I think was mentioned before, the newly formed Susquehanna Township Property and Maintenance Code Board of Appeals has requested that the Board of Commissioners consider adopting the latest edition, the 2015 edition of the International Property Maintenance Code. The township currently has adopted the 2009 edition of the International Property Maintenance Code, and the document in your packet outlines the changes between the respective editions. The other thing, just to let the board know, is that the adopting ordinance back in 2009, when you had adopted the 2009 International Property Maintenance Code, provides for essentially a provision that allows for the adoption of subsequent editions subject to public notice. There's a notice provision in the adopting ordinance that requires the board simply to publish notice of its intent to adopt or transition, if you will, to the more recent code version. So again, presenting this request on behalf of the newly formed Property Maintenance Code Board of Appeals for your consideration.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just if the board is inclined to do that, again, all we're requesting is that the board authorize the township solicitor to prepare the public notice and authorize its publication in a newspaper of general circulation.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Any comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
All right, Commissioner comments?
Mr. President,
Yes.
my comments are more by way of a public service announcement, and I'm going to go back to the Wedgwood Hills Swim Club. That will be opening again this year. It is located in Susquehanna Township off of Progress Avenue across from Peachtree Restaurant. You take Brookfield Avenue, make the left or right, whichever way you're coming on Progress, and take Brookfield back to Diamond Street, make a left, and that's where the pool's located. They have a large swimming pool with water slide, baby pool with spray feature, large recreation room with ping pong and foosball tables, men's and women's locker room with bathrooms, lots to do outside of the pool, baseball field with volleyball net, playground equipment, 4 square courts, tetherball, and lots of food at the concession stand. New in 17, credit cards can be used for membership fees at the concession stand. The pool will be open to the public, meaning no membership necessary, for $5 per person on Hannah Days, which will be June 7th and 8th, and then every Friday starting June 16th. You can rent the pool for a party or special event. No membership is required. The upcoming events that they have are the Hannah Days on June 7th and 8th from noon to 7 p.m., $5 per person, everybody welcome. You can check them out on Facebook or their website at www.wedgewoodhillsswimclub.com. And lastly, I'd like to ask those that will be attending the pool to adhere to our speed laws in Wedgewood Hills, in particular around the pool for safety purposes. That's all we ask, to be respectful and obey the law and be safe. And that concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thanks, Commissioner. Anybody else have anything?
Mr. President, I would like to take this opportunity to recognize Elliot Markowitz, as we've got a notice that Elliot is retiring as Executive Director of our Susquehanna Emergency Management, and I wanted to thank Elliot for his years of work. Matter of fact, a personal thing that Elliot, his wife, and we all kind of were early settlers of Deer Pass Woods back in the middle 1980s. And we've gone through various cycles of kids going through schools and on, and now we're all getting into retirement age. But I wanted to give Elliot a little recognition from the board for thanking him for his service to our community for all these years.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Second retirement. This one's going to stick, right?
This one sticks.
Second retirement. When's your last day, Elliot?
June 30th.
Okay. Good luck.
I was planning on making that kind of formal thing next month's meeting.
Beat you to it. So he jumped the gun.
But that's okay.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
All right. Well, thanks for your service.
Thank
Much
you.
appreciated.
Mr. President, if I may, I have comments. There'll be a community meeting to discuss the construction activity in the uptown area of the township. It will be held on Monday, May 15th at 7 p.m. right here in the Pincus Room at the Municipal Building, 1900 Linglestown Road. Staff and engineers overseeing the project will be able to provide an update of the construction activity, answer questions, and address concerns of residents and business owners. We'll also have information placed on the website. And I just have to, can't express enough the thanks for the patience of the folks in the First Ward. The construction activity has drawn on, mostly due to the utility companies starting some unplanned projects, so that's kind of set us back a bit. But we appreciate their patience. It's been particularly hard for some of the business owners on 6th Street with the road having been closed. So we appreciate their patience, and we want to work through this with them to get things moving along quicker. So I understand, too, that Manager Kratzer is going to be working with the engineers to get a special site up where residents can more easily submit items if there's a concern or a complaint, and also gain information.
Correct.
Kind of like a sharing of information, so all the residents can see the questions and get the answers.
That is correct, Commissioner. What we're doing is what's called a microsite. We're actually trying to use it not only for this project, but for other township-sponsored or authority-sponsored projects. And that's in the midst of being developed at this point. The domain name, we tried to use it also as kind of a branding and a marketing opportunity. We're going to call the site susquehannaworks.com. And as the Commissioner noted, there will be an opportunity not only to post information, but also to allow residents to pose questions. So there will be a community forum component to it as well. that will allow those that are working on the project to respond directly to questions that are being posed by constituents that are affected by these construction projects. But again, just as we saw our new webpage, to the extent that we can, we're continuing and looking at ways to try to enhance our outreach to our citizenry. So that is expected to actually be unveiled, if you will, at that community meeting on the 15th. And as I said, that domain name was purposeful in the sense that we can reuse it as we move forward with other projects.
I like it.
And would that be on the stormwater and sewer construction side?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
It'll. Yep. I mean, again, the site at this point is being built to address the current project in the
Right,
downtown
of
area.
course.
But yes,
But that sounds like a tremendous resource.
It could be used for road construction, sanitary sewer construction,
Great.
stormwater construction, any type of township-sponsored, authority-sponsored project.
Perfect. Thank you. And Commissioner Robarczyk, what time was that again?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock,
And I
okay,
really
thank you.
appreciate staff doing this. I think it's gotten to the point where we're getting so many individual questions. It's just a better plan at this point to hold the community meeting and have everyone's, because a lot of people have the same questions and get them answered all at once.
Sure, absolutely.
Anything else before we pay bills?
Oh, I forgot we gotta pay bills.
Shall we pay bills?
I move to accept the report of bills paid in the amount of $900,064.79.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Seconded? All in
Third.
Third. Any discussion on that motion to adjourn?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Out of here.